Welcome to Lumenverse. If you find yourself enjoying these stories, please take a moment to like the video and subscribe to this channel, so you never miss another journey into the uncanny. Now, let's begin. Certainly, the harbor is indeed silent just before midnight. The waters that gently lap against the ancient wooden docks seem to rock the boats that are moored there like a lullaby. The rhythmic bobbing motion acting as a gentle cradle. The seagulls perched upon the pier have fallen into a tranquil slumber, and even the faintest whisper of a breeze is absent, allowing for the lanterns to swing back and forth in undisturbed tranquility. Yet there are moments when a peculiar phenomenon occurs. An unfamiliar ship manifests at the far end of the pier, seemingly rising out of nowhere. There is a peculiar legend in the quiet village of the Midnight Harbor Ship, a vessel said to arrive at the very end of the wooden pier. Its black, polished hull is small in size, but the lantern that dangles from its top like a gleaming eye is not fueled by glowing gold, but an eerie silver-blue fire reminiscent of moonlit crystal. And every tale is agreed upon in that the ship never actively seeks passengers. But should a curious soul step aboard, the captain will always be there, patiently awaiting their arrival. Those who return from their voyage recall the silent journey of the ship as it glides away from the familiar harbor. The waters they venture into grow increasingly darker, reminiscent of the night sky. Beneath the surface a spectacle unfolds, luminescent fish swimming in deliberate patterns, their faint glow illuminating the aquatic realm, and above the stars appear close enough to touch. Yet, this journey always takes an unexpected turn. Some travelers report a dense, luminous fog enveloping the ship, surrounding them with a dreamlike atmosphere. There is a strange rhythm that haunts the ship's journey, the steady sound of knocking, as though a ghostly presence gently taps against the wood in an endless, consistent beat. The voyage always seems to end with the first streaks of dawn's light reflecting off the waves, signaling the return of the ship to the original harbor. The lantern attached to the mast dims, while the captain remains mute. With each step off the deck, the decking beneath your feet feels cold, only to discover the ship has vanished entirely. A hidden inn stands by the coast, ensconced between towering cliffs and the ever-present sea, adorned with a window that perpetually harbors a glowing lantern. The innkeeper exhibits a quiet politeness, moving with the same rhythm as the relentless tide. Curiously enough, no matter the hour of arrival, the staff members greet every visitor with a similar message, leaving a distinct impression, expecting your arrival. Each room is cozy and inviting, carrying a hint of wood smoke in the air. Guests who have had the strange experience of staying at this inn often report dreaming of the mysterious person from the photograph. In their subconscious minds, they find themselves engaged in tranquil activities, such as walking along the shoreline, or sitting quietly by a cozy fire. However, the dreams inevitably take a darker turn, climaxing with the stranger standing in the doorway, uttering the chilling phrase, "It's your turn now." The true meaning behind this cryptic message remains a mystery, but interestingly, those who experience this recurring dream never return to the inn. Within the pastoral heart of the countryside, there is a small wooden bridge that spans a shallow, parched gully, adorned with verdant grass and lush moss. Its unremarkable appearance during the day belies its secret. At night, the bridge emits a subtle rhythmic hum, akin to a distant bell chiming in the night air. Individuals traversing the bridge often find themselves pausing mid-crossing, drawn in by the low, steady hum. Careful listening reveals a gradual change in the sound. It starts slowly, then accelerates, shifting from a hum into a barely perceptible voice. People's accounts of the voice they hear at the bridge are varied, with some reporting warnings whispered in their ears, and others claiming the voice makes promises. There is even a report of a man who asserted he heard his own name, pronounced so softly that he could feel the voice caressing his ear. A peculiar phenomenon occurs when more than one individual stands on the bridge. The humming abruptly ceases, as though the voice desires a private audience. A modest boarding house within the city offers lodging for weekly stays. Its tranquil ambiance is filled with a subtle scent of tea, and the creaking floorboards have their own distinct pattern. However, at the end of the third-floor corridor rests a mysterious locked door without a visible handle or number. Curiosity often prompts new tenants to inquire about this enigmatic room, and the landlord consistently responds with the same answer: that room has been locked and unopened for years. Nighttime visitors of the enigmatic locked room report hearing cautious footsteps that sound like someone attempting to move silently from within. Occasionally, a dull glow emanates from the crack beneath the door, only to vanish when one ventures close enough to observe it. Once, a more daring individual knelt down, peering through the keyhole. A desolate tableau greeted their gaze, a scantily furnished room devoid of furniture beyond a solitary wooden chair. Oddly, the chair faced the wall, concealing the presence of someone seated upon it. However, when the tenant sought another glimpse, the keyhole revealed nothing more than impenetrable darkness. In the older section of the town, a row of well-preserved brick houses stands, adorned with tall, narrow windows outlined by aged white paint. Most of the houses have drawn curtains, yet one, situated on the second floor of the fourth house from the corner, remains forever bare. Observant pedestrians claim they've spotted a shadowy figure at night, standing motionlessly in the window. The figure occasionally appears closer to the window, sometimes farther back, but never fully vanishes. Despite the house being abandoned for decades, its lamp mysteriously illuminates every night, and the spectral presence continues its silent vigil. There exists a peculiar field located miles away from any body of water, and within it, a full-size ship inexplicably resides. Theories abound regarding its arrival. Some believe a flood delivered it, while others ponder its intentional construction, though the reasons for such an act remain unknown. Farmers traversing the area at night have reportedly heard the ship's wooden boards creaking, mimicking the rhythmic rocking of waves, along with enigmatic voices calling out and lanterns swinging from the mast. On one rare occasion, a lone traveler had ascended the ship and described the sensation of their hands encountering dampened planks, and the disconcerting spectacle of the stars appearing. Within the labyrinthine alleys of certain cities, a hidden gem known as the Night Library can be discovered. Its entrance is unmarked, save for a pitch-black door adorned with a brass handle that emits unnatural warmth. Inside, the atmosphere is eerily hushed, only occasionally disturbed by the soft sound of pages turning. The library's shelves stretch far into the darkness, housing countless volumes devoid of titles. If one dares to remove a book and begin to read, the blank pages magically come alive with words, as though the content materializes based on the reader's imagination. The words materialized on the page, the story they formed felt eerily familiar. At times, they recounted long-forgotten dreams from childhood, or revived long-buried memories. Yet, at times, the words portrayed an event that had yet to unfold, as yet unwritten chapters of the reader's life. In the hushed ambiance of the library, the imposing figure of the librarian, clad in a dark suit, remained silent, never uttering a word. Yet every time the reader looked away from the pages and cast a glance around, the librarian appeared closer, closing the distance ever so slightly. A hidden trail snakes through a thicket of ancient pines and snaking roots, shrouding the path in a perpetual chill, as if constantly anticipating a snowfall. Hiking this path, you may behold a faint lantern light, fluttering gently in the distance, just beyond the veil of branches and shadows. Unfailing in its consistency, the light remains a consistent distance ahead, unyielding no matter the speed of a pursuer. The forest itself appears altered during this pursuit, with winding paths appearing where none ought to be, the trees leaning in closer, and the soft soil shifting beneath your feet. A weathered roadside motel graces the route along a well-traveled highway, bearing an unassuming facade of faded doors and a perpetually buzzing neon sign. Within this modest structure, Room 6 harbors a concealed secret. The occupants aren't repelled by the chilled air within, nor by the aged mirror standing quietly in the corner. Instead, it's the mirror's enigmatic nature that instills unease. It faithfully mirrors the room, but with the unsettling addition of a phantom presence. A stationary figure standing within the reflection, its head tilted slightly, silently watching. There exists a mysterious train that traverses the countryside, never pausing at any stops. Its windows gleam with a warm glow, and inside, silent passengers don their attire from a different era, maintaining a solemn silence. Though they remain aloof, they occasionally respond to those who wave from the platform by lifting their hand in a subtle acknowledgement. Yet, the train's conductor remains unseen, concealed within the darkened front car, a riddle shrouded in mystery. The train purportedly halts solely for the individuals it deems worthy, and once embarked upon, the journey persists until the final destination is reached, regardless of its location. A quaint house stands at the conclusion of a winding, narrow road, its facade appearing perfectly unremarkable, with the exception of the capricious variations it undergoes. One evening, the front door may flaunt a vibrant coat of red paint, while another night, a brand new porch materializes. Neighboring residents have also noted a perplexing alteration concerning the house's structure. The number of windows varies unpredictably, sometimes more and at other times fewer in number. Though no individuals have been observed entering or vacating the premises, occasionally, during twilight hours, a silhouette becomes distinguished through the windows, moving within a room that was absent. A dilapidated stone chapel, now derelict, clings to the slope of a nearby hill. Ivy has conquered the exterior, snaking its way up the walls while the roof has partially succumbed to the elements. Inside, dust blankets the pews, save for one towards the front, consistently devoid of the powdery substance. The village folk claim that if you venture to the chapel after nightfall, you might perceive a calm, measured breathing echoing from the altar, as though someone lies there, immersed in slumber. A lone woman living alone would consistently wake up to the persistent ringing of her lamp at the same time every night, 2:14 a.m. Upon answering, only a steady rhythm greeted her ears, akin to a fingernail gently tapping against glass. On one night, she made the decision to ignore the incessant ringing. After 3 relentless attempts, the phone quieted, only for her to discover an immaculate fingerprint imprinted on the condensation that formed on her bedroom window come sunrise. On certain evenings, drivers traversing a forsaken old highway may find themselves on a peculiar street that seemed to extend indefinitely in every direction. The housing lining both sides of the road were identical, punctuated by dimly gleaming streetlights. Strangely, no turns interrupted the perfectly straight stretch. As the vehicle progressed, the fuel gauge mysteriously remained stationary, and the clock ceased its ticking. In a bizarre twist, the only automobile encountered was consistently the same one, with the driver consistently maintaining a vacant, unblinking gaze straight ahead. The historic hotel in question was renowned for its elegant lobby and tranquil halls. However, on the 3rd floor, one particular section was plagued by a disconcerting whisper that disturbed the tranquility. Though faint, the whispered words eluded comprehension. The mysterious sound perpetually emerged from beyond the next corner, remaining ahead regardless of how swiftly one chased after it. A harrowing realization dawned upon its pursuers. They had traversed the entire floor, only to find themselves once again at the start, precisely where their relentless chase had begun. A majestic mansion stood isolated at the outskirts of a tranquil village, enveloped by towering trees, whose boughs emitted a soft whisper as the breeze passed through. The mansion's exterior displayed the effects of time, as the stones were marked with patches of moss and lichen. Intriguingly, the interior of the mansion boasted expansive rooms adorned with antiquated furniture, where the air carried the faint scent of aging books and polished wood. Prominently situated above the grand staircase in the main hall, hung a portrait depicting a woman clad in elegant Victorian attire, her gaze steady and penetrating. As encroaching nightfall deepened the shadows within the mansion, a palpable change would occur. The air would grow colder, and a profound hush would engulf the rooms, as the silence settled around the house. And at times, though rare, the eyes depicted in the portrait would close and then reopen, bestowing the uncanny feeling that someone, or something, were watching. The stillness of the night was accompanied by the soft whisper of wind, gently rustling the leaves of the surrounding trees. Inside, an almost imperceptible rhythm emanated from the walls, mimicking the breathing of the house itself. The portrait, situated in the grand stairwell of the old mansion, appeared to possess a life of its own. The woman depicted within bore an intense yet calming gaze, neither menacing nor cold, but curiously observant. One could almost discern a sense of deep understanding within those painted eyes, a quiet patience that defied the confines of time. Tales spoke of her benevolent nature, her gentle strength. It was said that she would tend to the village children with tender care, nurture her gardens with soft hands, and fill her journal with verses and dreams. Then, without warning, she vanished. Rumors abounded, with some claiming she left to protect an unexplainable secret, while others whispered that she stepped into a realm beyond understanding, her spirit remaining bound to the place she cherished. As the clock struck midnight, if one listened intently for a fleeting moment, the softest of noises could be detected, the hushed sound of a page being turned from the depths of an ancient book, or the dainty touch of silk against stone. The mansion held fast, holding its breath in anticipation. The portrait blinked in the heart of an ancient forest, Where trees reach great heights and crowd together, stands a chapel hidden amongst the foliage. The stone walls are adorned with a cloak of verdant moss, and although the stained glass windows are marred with small fractures, they are still able to catch the ethereal glow of moonlight, creating a display of fractured hues. Despite the evidence of abandonment, an inexplicable presence envelops the chapel, manifesting in a soft hum that emanates from deep within its core. At the very altar a lone candle burns steadfastly. The candle's flame dazzled within the silence, casting lengthened shadows that moved and contorted in concert with the dance of the fire. A profound sense of tranquility pervaded the atmosphere, beckoning onlookers to embrace the present moment, to breathe in the calm and listen intently. The forest outside whispered softly, with an almost melodic cadence. As the night unfolded, the candle's illumination intensified, disclosing deeper narratives within its glowing heart. Stories of devotion, loss, and resilience. A dilapidated old house stood at the precipice of the town, its exterior boasting peeling paint and hanging window shutters. Within the abandoned abode, a violin was perched atop a dust-laden table, its wooden frame worn and smooth from years of neglect, but the strings still taut. Locals spoke of the violin's eerie song, which slipped through fractures in the house when the wind picked up, accompanied by a sorrowful and sorrow-filled melody. When the breezes blew just right, the somber note would carry through broken windows, wrapping itself around the neighboring trees and slipping into open doors. The haunting melody unfurls slowly and gracefully, its notes carrying on the still night air like a soothing lullaby. It does not startle or alarm, but instead beckons listeners to surrender to the hush of slumber, where shadows and reverie intermingle softly. Within the desolate house, the violin stands undisturbed, yet its music persists, as if carried on intangible strings by the very essence of the night itself. With every hour that passes, the melody weakens, then strengthens again, luring the listener towards the threshold of consciousness and sleep, until the first light of the morning seizes the final note. A forgotten playground resides at the forest's edge, beyond winding paths enshrouded in ivy and wildflowers. Its wooden swings gently undulate in the breeze, emitting an uncanny creaking sound as if pushed by unseen hands. The slide glimmers faintly under the pale moonlight, its surface polished by countless forgotten feet. For decades, no children have filled the area with laughter and joy, while the paint peels silently from the corroding bars of the jungle gym. But when the night fog descends upon the trees, the playground seems to breathe with a different sort of life altogether. The air resonates with faint echoes, distant laughter, footsteps seem to whisper against the ground, and murmurs carried by the breeze. Visitors who have ventured near describe a tender sensation, as if the playground holds onto the joy it once harbored and yearns to share it again. At times, the swings move without anyone present, tracing languid arcs through the starlit sky. A gentle tune, like a song softly played to comfort the weary heart, seems to ride gently on the wind. If one chooses to perch on the old bench situated near the exit, they may perceive the subtle illumination of miniature lights, akin to fireflies, yet remaining steady, radiating a comforting warmth that envelops like a gentle blanket. The playground elicits no trepidation, only the poignant sadness of fading reminiscences, and an enduring hope that mirthful laughter may someday resound once more. As nightfall progresses, the mist thickens, blanketing the playground in a delicate embrace, until the sun's first light gently unravels the enchantment, and the playground waits quietly for the cycle to commence anew. A towering clock tower graces the center of the settlement, its weathered facade bearing the marks of relentless wind and rain. Consistent and reassuring, its bells toll every hour in timeless succession, punctuating the silence with a steadfast rhythm. Yet, at the stroke of midnight, an unprecedented occurrence transpires. Local residents who have dared to remain awake to observe report that the clock chimes 13 times, a number deemed impossible by conventional standards. The final chime resonates distinctly, carrying a softer tone and persisting in the air like a whispered secret. Rumored whispers among the villagers suggest that attentive listeners may discern a soft voice carried on the wind during the 13th chime, though the language remains just beyond comprehension. This spectral entity is believed to narrate tales of moments lost to time and glimpses of tomorrow's possibilities. As the chimes fade away, the town appears to hold its breath, as if time itself extends its pause by an extra moment. The stars above glimmer faintly, and the shadows stretch into the night, carefully concealing unsolved enigmas. The clock tower maintains its secret, awaiting the arrival of those with patience and intrigue. Within the small, tranquil town where cobbled streets twine between old brick houses, a particular abode differentiates itself. Its tall, narrow windows exhibit dark wooden frames, and one window on the second level never dons curtains. Each nightfall witnesses the presence of a shadow that appears in that very window, its silhouette consistently tall and unfaltering, its outline softened by the street lamp's radiant glow. Neighbors remark that the figure doesn't stir or utter a word, only vigilantly observes. Its identity and origins remain a mystery, with speculation ranging from a watchful guardian to a wandering lost spirit. On calm, windless evenings when the atmosphere maintains its tranquility, the shadow continues to linger long after the street lamps dim, patiently observing the world as it succumbs to slumber. The courageous few who summon the audacity to peer out from their windows assert that the shadow seems to acknowledge them, offering a slow, gracious nod, as if conveying a silent good night. With the rising sun's first light, the shadow vanishes silently, leaving in its wake a gentle reminder that even shadows can occasionally be friendly companions.